now I'm gonna bring on some of our family
Nice.
here, and we're gonna just hang out and have a loving meet the biz kind of visit with you.
I love that.
So yes, we have a bunch of our wonderful actors here who are really talented working actors. We have, let's see who's going to pop on first. Who's going to pop on? There's Felicia Patty. She's calling from Boston today.
Wow. Hi, Felicia.
And,
Hi.
and then there's Kaylee Versveld.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hello, Vicki. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, Jessica Morgan.
Hello.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
And
Hi, good
Jacob
to meet you.
Lintz.
Hi,
Hi.
Jacob. How are you?
I'm good. How
Vicki
about you?
Abelson, everyone.
I am not a celebrity. You guys are celebrities. You guys are far more successful than I am because a lot more people get to see you and you do wonderful work.
I think it's because that book. I like the saying on the book. Don't
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. And now everybody here has been on TV. I mean, Jacob, you had that hit movie out, correct?
Yeah, it's called Nathan's Kingdom. It's an independent feature film, and it's on Amazon Prime right now.
You know, I'm going to watch it. I looked you up and I saw that and I'm excited to watch it. How did you get that part?
So the director's name is Oliver Munoz, and he was like really like committed to casting a person on the spectrum for that role. And so his producer, I guess, got him in contact with PASW, which is the organization that we're all part of. And yeah, I was in on that day. I was in at the acting class, and he was looking for people to play the role. And I read the part, and he really liked my audition. So
That is
what happened.
thrilling. I was an actress for a bunch of years and I never got to where you guys are, but I sure wanted to. I'm in awe. I've made it. I've been in movies for about 30 seconds. That's my big.
Wow.
I had one line in Meet the Fockers. So.
What line was that, David?
I'm Dom Fucker.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I actually got to do a little scene with a guy from. Did you ever hear The Sopranos? There was a famous television show.
Yeah, my brother watched that show.
So I was in a movie with Michael Imperioli, who was one of the stars of that show, and I got to improvise a scene with him. That was exciting. How do you guys learn your lines? I want to know how you do that, because is there a trick that you do? Kaylee, you're laughing. How do you learn your lines?
So I'm not sure you know this, Vicki. So in a few months, all of this year, I was on a show called The Good Doctor on ABC. So it was a lot for me to expect because they had to do a lot of like drafts and like that. But with me, memorizing is difficult. But when it comes to a great acting coach over here, he helped me a lot, and of course my mom as well. And it was like, I'm stuck in my head. Like I'm bad memorizing, but working on like being focused and keeping your character, your dialogue that you have to bring in, and the emotions. It was really hard for me to do it all together on set with Freddie Highmore, who directed the episode. So it was like, wow, like I can't even say anything about that. So.
Well, it's hard for me too. So I'm in awe that you guys do it. I'm really impressed. How about you, Felicia? Do you have any tricks to memorize lines?
I've been working with David for a while now, and so it's difficult to memorize everything, but you gotta just be in the moment and be in character.
Felicia and I met in Canada.
Wow.
On the
How did
set.
that, how'd you do that?
I was on a show called Love You More with Bridget Everett, and
Wow.
Michael Patrick King wrote it too.
You know, Michael Patrick King was a good friend of my husband's, and I've met Michael many times. Michael is a very talented guy.
Yeah, he is.
Did you get to meet him?
Yeah.
Wow. He's very funny. He was a stand-up comedian first.
He's a nice, he's a really nice guy.
Wow, that's wonderful. And so how did you two meet? How did that happen? David and Felicia?
I saw David on set on Love You More, and he was helping my friend Luke Zimmerman, and he has Down syndrome. And he was on the set on Love You More also.
Yeah, I went there. I was blessed to be able to be the coach on the set. So I was there.
Fabulous.
Luke Zimmerman, who we thought we were related, but we're not. But everybody's related in some way. And then John Tucker was on there.
Oh yeah, John Tucker, yeah.
Performing arts. But then, you
I
know,
have
and all.
a friend, Ron Zimmerman, by the way, that I heard from yesterday. You're not related to Ron Zimmerman, are you?
I don't.
The writer?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
A lot
But
of
I see his
Zimmerman.
name out there.
Yeah.
But it's been
And
great.
how about you? I'm sorry. How about you, Jessica? How do you learn to memorize? How do you memorize your lines?
Yeah, I think that the first 2 days it would be kind of I wouldn't say yeah, like it would be too difficult for me. Yeah, it would normally take me at least maybe 2 or 3 days to like actually see the script and feel the character and everything. Yeah, and then after those the 3 days, then I'll just yeah, I have it right there, and it just comes natural to me, and it's really easy to just to pick it up. So
Wow, wish it was really easy for me. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Jessica, I've known, I think now for over 20 years.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, kidding.
We met. Did we meet at Born Tech Players?
Yeah, yes, we did, David.
Born Tech Players, and then we did. Jessica, I put together this casting director, not a workshop, but where we for 2 months we got together and we rehearsed scenes, and Jessica did a perfect scene from Carrie where the mother throws her in the car. Oh my God. Jessica like bawling. We're all bawling. It's amazing. And
Carrie, the movie Carrie?
Yeah.
So my good friend was in Carrie. She played the really nasty girl. She was the one that was throwing the Tampax at Carrie, and that was with the boy who they dropped the pig's blood on her. Her name is Nancy Allen. She's a wonderful actress.
Yeah. Well, I had a really good time on doing that scene, and
wow.
I was doing it in front of so many casting directors, and Danny Woodburn was actually one of them. And he was, and like they were all so impressed, and the person that I was doing that scene with was Kate, I think her name was KDRC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta say, yeah, she was really into her character, and I basically gotten slapped, and it basically stung for like a good it has stung for a pretty good minute, but I had to pull it on through, and I just know that I can basically do anything that is thrown at me. If anyone would do it, even if it was in a casting director or a producer, yeah, and I just to do it.
Well, you went on to be in Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Have you all studied acting before you started doing it?
I haven't.
You haven't. You just
No,
started
I didn't
working.
do
Oh,
anything. So here's something that David doesn't even know about. So I was probably so I took theater like in in front of a lot of like people, and I didn't know anything about it. And my mom kind of felt bad because my high school had it too, but it was local. So I didn't know anything about it until my mom put me into theater in my local area and had a lot of fun doing it. I was, for the very first time, I had stage fright. Normally, I love the attention because obviously that's what I like about it, but I was in ensemble. So after those years, I went to college and I did another theater group and studied about it and know the tools about being a great actor. And then when I heard about Performing Arts Studio West, that's when I really get into the arts area. I actually met David Zimmerman through One Act Players as well, but not for 20 years though. For sure, it was like a half of that year. And like that, so
When I
I've
was
gone
5.
from my that was it, 5 years. So it was, it's like it's crazy over here, and it's like so I learned a lot of like trainings through one of our players and Performing Arts Studio West, where I first met my first boyfriend actually back in the day. So it was something new that I never knew as an actress that I am. I'm really dramatic with myself, and
I'm very dramatic too, much to the grin.
I think we all are, Vicky. So that's how I learned about being an actor and being an advocate. So
Fantastic. How about you, Jacob? Did you study? Sorry.
say
Me?
Did
again.
you study acting, Jacob?
So I started acting when I was 15. I was still like halfway through high school. And I started at the Miracle Project. I thought that would be pretty interesting. They help people with autism. They kind of teach them about stuff. And then I joined like a high school summer acting troupe called Delightful Productions. I think they might still be around. I joined them for 2 summers. One was for Beauty and the Beast. I played Belle's father, the like
Oh.
inventor, and that was kind of like a comedic role for me. And then the second year was Pirates of Penzance, which was
Oh, I love that show.
yeah, it was a lot more. There was a lot more that went into that one, but they cast me as one of the cops, one of the nervous cops, and that was another comedic role for me. And then while I was in school, I joined the acting program at my high school, and I was able to learn a lot there.
That's fabulous. My daughter was a silly girl. Aren't the silly girls from Beauty and the Beast? I think that's from Beauty and the Beast.
I think so.
Yeah, there's 3 silly girls. That was when she first started. Yeah. And how about you, Felicia? Did you study acting?
I did. I was in a high school play in high school in Winthrop High School, and I played a girl. I played Kendall on the a Christmas play. It was really fun. I took drama class in high school.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah. So I started off as that, and I saw my older brother, Johnny. He lives in California, and he's a film director.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Has he ever cast you?
I was in his short film called God Don't Love Ugly. It's on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yeah, but he cut me out though, because
I've been cut out many times.
it's like a short film. So
That happens. I was on Saturday Night Live 3 times and my bits kept getting, if you blink, you miss me because my stuff kept getting cut out. But
Was it music? Was it acting? Was it?
I was with Billy Crystal actually. The first time he did Buddy Young Jr. and he plucked me out and gave me a little part. But then because it wasn't in the original script, they chopped it. So you can just see me really fast. It was, and I was in one with Madonna. Do you guys know who Madonna is?
I love Madonna's.
I love her.
My friend worship her a lot.
Well, we weren't allowed to look at her on set. They told us, do not look at Madonna. Do not talk to Madonna. Do not look at Madonna. I mean, it was when she first got married to Sean Penn. It was a long time ago. And I was playing his aunt. But again, it was not in the original script. So you don't see me in that one for more than a second either. But Madonna was quite the prima donna back in those days.
How can you not look at somebody when you're acting with them?
Well, no, she was playing her bride. They were doing a simulation of her wedding. So she walked down the aisle and, nobody was supposed to look at her in the hallways. When we were getting changed and made up and stuff, they didn't want any of us little actors interacting with Madonna, the big star.
oh,
Yeah. I don't know if she's still like that. I hope not.
Yeah.
maybe she's shy. Who knows?
You know what? Maybe. It's nice to think the best of people, Felicia. I think that's a good attitude. I
Yeah.
like that. Could be.
I also have a question to ask you, Vicki.
Sure.
So I've been told, and I resourced you that you have your own TV show, I believe, or TV host. How do you put things together with a TV show like that? Like, how do you get together?
That's a great question. Well, my TV show is not as legitimate as your TV shows because mine is on the real TV. Mine is on internet television. But it is a lot of work, and especially in the pandemic, because I have to do everything myself. I shoot it, I do the sound, I do the lights, I do the camera, I do the publicity, I book it. I interview, I have to do the whole thing myself. And so therefore, sometimes it's a mess. What did you ask, Felicia?
It must be frustrating.
It's very frustrating because sometimes I have trouble with the sound or I have trouble with the camera. I've been having a lot of trouble with Facebook. I go live on Facebook because I have a big platform there, but now they've been not sending out the notifications to my people, and they also cut my count. It used to be that I'd have thousands of live views every time. And now at like 40 or 50 or 60, they stop counting the count. So it looks like that's all that's watching. So I know more are, but it's very frustrating for me. Very hard on me, my ego. But anyway, it's a lot of work because I have to book it. I have to set up the celebrities that I'm going to interview in advance so that I know I have a guest. And I have to make sure I have people that help me with the artwork. So they're wonderful and they do great work. But it's coordinating a lot of things. The most frustrating thing is doing the technical stuff myself. And I used to have somebody work the camera and do all of that for me. So it used to be in a real television studio, and there were 3 cameras and there was a crew of 4, and it was a whole bigger deal. But the most important thing is the conversation, the content. And so even though sometimes the sound isn't right or there's a mess up in the camera work, the conversation is the thing that's the most important part. So that kind of works.
Thank you so much, Vicki. The reason I asked is that my goal is to have my own talk show.
Yay!
I'm not sure David mentioned this to you. I interview a lot of celebrities just like you guys, going back and forth, and I have my own t-shirt business, Tides of Kindness. So I have my own mic, and my brother does the camera, and we do things together. So I was like telling you that. So that's my goal, to make that happen. So that's how I was asking.
That's
so thank you so much.
As far as getting guests, I've been able to pretty much get everybody that I've ever wanted to interview, but I chased them some people for a long time. And I've met a lot of people on Facebook and on Twitter. I write them messages and then they tell me, later, and I just keep writing them and I eventually wear them down. And sometimes it takes me years. It took me years to get one of the monkeys in my living room, but I didn't give up. And that's the thing about being a talk show host, is that when you set your sights on somebody, you just don't give up. But you don't bother them. I don't bother them, but I just gently let them know. And I genuinely am a fan of all the people that I interview. I genuinely respect and admire them and like them. So they can feel that it's not just business, that it's from my heart.
Yeah.
So
is there one person who you haven't interviewed that you's like, okay, this is one person I still have to interview who's alive? And if you could go all of history and interview anybody who's not here anymore on the planet, who would it be?
I think if I could pick, well, my list of people that I want to interview that I haven't yet is enormous. I mean, I want to interview Sting. I want to interview Jane Fonda. I would love to interview Hillary Clinton. I've actually tried to get Hillary. And I would love to interview Kamala, our vice president. I would love to interview Joe Biden. I think he's fantastic. I would love to interview Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin said yes to me 4 times, and then it just kept falling because she kept working. But my list of people that I want to interview is a mile long. So I'll never run out of people to chase. And as far as people through history, that's a wonderful question. I would like to interview Abe Lincoln. I mean, he freed the slaves. I mean, I think he's pretty amazing. I have to really think about that, because Mozart, I mean, just I want to think of a woman. Sylvia Plath was an author that really inspired me. She was a brilliant poetess, and I would love to have, Laura Nyro, who was a singer that I worshiped. Phoebe Snow, who was a really great friend of mine, who was a wonderful singer who passed away. Yeah, my lists, my dream lists go on and on, but that's a great question. Very thought-provoking. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, Vicki. Yeah, so with your book, the women who create, I was just wondering, were there any stories from different? Were there any stories that were sorry.
That's okay. Take your time. No rush. I'll take a drink.
Yeah. Were there any stories from your book, from different women? I was wondering, did you find any of their stories that have a personal or emotional or inspirational feeling to you, where you had started and made you feel inspired to write the book about the wonderful women?
That's a wonderful question, Jessica. Actually, my book is not about.
Hello? Oh.
My book. You can't hear me?
No, now I can, but it went out for a second.
Sorry. My book is called Don't Jump, and that's really my story fictionalized. But when I was doing Women Who Write, which was, I would read a chapter from my book each month and invite other people to read with me. There was one of the most inspiring women and stories for me. There was an actress called Valerie Harper, and she passed away a couple of years ago. But Valerie was a very, very big star. She was on a show called The Mary Tyler Moore Show. And then she had her own show called Rhoda. And she was a dancer and she was on Broadway and she wrote a book and called I Rhoda and or I Valerie. Now I can't remember. Anyway, Valerie found out about 8 years ago, I think it was, that she had a terminal disease and she was going to die. And they told her that she was going to die in 3 months. She had 3 months to live. And this is going to make me cry.
Sorry.
She came to, that's okay. It's a warm and wonderful memory. She came to my living room with her book and read to us and talked to us and spent the whole afternoon signing every single book for everybody when she thought she only had 6 weeks left to live in her life.
Wow.
And it turned out that the doctors were wrong and she lived about another 4 years. And she didn't know that day. And that was the most generous act of kindness that I have ever seen, of someone that had so little time left to live, and she chose to spend it talking to a room full of hopeful women writers and successful women writers and actors and a few men, and was so gracious to sit and sign and everybody's book and take pictures. She was a hero of mine all the time I was growing up. I worshipped her. She was a fabulous actress, so funny. David knows who Valerie is very well, I'm sure. And it was one of the most important days of my life, one of the most memorable and beautiful. She was generous and kind and warm, and she hugged everybody and kissed everybody, and she was just beautiful. And that was such an act of generosity. It inspires me to be of service whenever I can, and to know that that's the most important thing I can ever do with my life.
Wow. Well, I mean, she, yeah, I mean, she has touched so many lives, and now I feel like, yeah, you are one of those people that are going to just be amazing, and that you are amazing and beautiful, and the way that she was. Yeah, I know that you are going. I mean, you are just going to be incredible. You are going to be the type of a person that will just to make everyone feel just loved and comforted, and you are one of those people to just be just fearless, and that's really on what I think of you, and you inspire me in your way, because I actually would like to write books too. So you can inspire me in that part of it. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, those are beautiful words. Thank you. I don't feel worthy of them, but I appreciate them. And when Women Who Write starts up again, you're all invited to come and to speak to us and to join us and have food with us, break bread with us. You'll come with David. And David asked me when I'm going to start again. And I don't really know when I'm going to feel comfortable having 50 people in my living room during this pandemic. I think I'm going to wait until COVID's kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's not going to be until probably next year, huh?
I think that's probably true, unfortunately. I just heard of somebody who has who had the vaccines, who got sick and got pretty sick still. Yeah. Didn't have to go to the hospital, but did get sick.
Speaking of that, I actually have some family members that had those struggles with COVID as well. Like in the beginning of COVID, my aunt got one, and she got really ill. She's a doctor.
Oh wow!
She's a doctor for my grandfather, actually. So it's interesting.
Wow.
But she wasn't herself technically. My brother, when I was in Canada, I just heard this from my mom because I was talking with someone. Oh, like, oh, I have COVID too. Like, I'm sick. So my brother had that too for a while, but he's getting married. He's healthy now. So it's nice that people are being aware during COVID, not to be exposed by a lot of groups. Because it's still in COVID time, you never know what's gonna happen. I was terrified when I heard about my brother. I'm really close to him. My family's close to each other, but I just don't like when COVID acts on ourselves. Like, some people can act weird or different feelings on their emotions. And I don't think that COVID should not be here anymore. I want it to be normal, you know?
Me
But,
too.
yeah. Like, I know it's my longest vacation for my past works, but I miss my friends at work. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've been seeing a few people, not just with ourselves and our friends, but I've seen like articles about people with Down syndrome or with different kind of disabilities. They passed away during COVID when they had COVID in the hospital bed. Like, I was like, could that actually happen to me? Like,
Yeah.
no. I'm a busy woman, you
Yeah.
know? I can't deal with that.
That's right. You
I
are.
don't like the word that. So, I'm
Yeah.
just surprised. So we are really like, we can be an easy target with people with disabilities because we go around a lot, but of course with everyone else. But I just don't think that we should have that here anymore.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I have a question, Vicki,
Sure.
for your book, but don't jump. Was it really hard to write a book for Don't Jump?
You know, it took me a really long time. I started writing my book right after 9/11 in 2001, right at the end of the year,
Mhm.
right after 9/11. And I started writing then, and I wrote for a few years every day. And then I took a few years off and I wrote a couple of other things to be of service. And oh boy, my call is early, I see. Um, and that's okay. I'm scheduled for 2:20, so it's okay.
Okay.
Where was I going with this? So I took a few years off and I wrote a book to be of service to other people. And then I came back to my book. Anyway, from the time I started it until the time it got published was 13 years. So when you ask me if it was hard, yes,
Mhm.
because I'm a perfectionist. So
Mhm.
I would rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite but I never thought I'd finish it. I thought I'd end up going into bookstores with a marker and changing books that were already on the shelf. How was I ever going to be done? But what was interesting was that when I was done, I knew it and I was done because it was the one time that I was able to read through from start to finish and I didn't change one word. And I said, okay, now it's done. But it was a lot of work for me.
Wow.
I have a second one too. Um, is the book Don't Jump? Is it on Auto book?
It is on audiobook. And I did the reading. I did it when I was really sick. I had a really bad cold and sore throat and I was hoarse. So the first few days we were doing it, my voice sounds kind of like this. But yes, there is an audiobook. It's on Amazon. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have a question. Yeah, so yeah, with you and David, and yeah, was it like yeah, was it like kind of like as a fate that you were and you're inspired by David in a way of being connected to him in a business way, or was it to like or was it like how long ago was that friendship? But that meant a lot to you.
David and I met, David came to my house for one of my literary salons for women who write with his friend Rozzy, who is now my friend. And she was going to sing in my living room, which was a really big thing because she didn't want to do that. And I interviewed her, but she did sing. But so David and I think we might have done some chatting on Facebook before we actually met. I'm thinking we did, right, David?
I think we did, yeah.
think
Because
we-
the first time I really was like Vicki Abelson is when Jerry, our friend Jerry Jewell, came, and she went to the one with Cloris Leachman, your event with Cloris.
So that Cloris Leachman was another huge star. She passed away recently too. And so getting her to my living room, she was actually on a show with Valerie Harper, the one I told you the story about who was dying. They were on a show together. They were on the Mary Tyler Moore show together. So they were acted together and they were very close. But when Jerry Jewell came, that was a huge thrill for me. I was a Jerry fan and she's wonderful. And I also got to interview Jerry later on Game Changers, which was great, one-on-one conversation. But she came to the living room with her book and she read from her book. And David and I just kind of hit it off. Right. You weren't able to come with Jerry, as I recall.
I don't know what I was doing, whether I was working or on this. I might have been in Canada with Felicia.
There you go. So I know something came up. So I was supposed to meet David first and then I didn't, but then I did with Rozzy. But we just became fast friends and I so admire what he's doing with all of you. And my daughter is an actress and she went to NYU to study acting and she's made some short films and stuff. And she sang in musicals and in school and stuff. And so we went to Theater West, which was deaf actors. We saw a production of, oh my God, it's her favorite show. And now I'm forgetting what it's called. It'll come to me.
Slipped out of my attention.
Oh God, it's killing me. It was their last production in LA and now I can't think of it. It's a very famous show and it was on Broadway and Marlee Matlin was in it. She was in Theater West version. You know what I'm talking? It's a very famous show. Anyway, we went and saw the Theater West version when she was, I think, a senior in high school. And
Spring Awakening.
Thank you, Spring Awakening. It's her favorite show. And she was so impressed with the deaf actors who were signing through the show, and then the actors with them that were helping them and being their voice, singing their songs, that she decided to learn to sign. And so I am very inspired by what David does in helping all of you, because everybody has a voice and every voice needs to be heard.
Well, I tell you, everybody here gives me voice. I mean, I always feel that everybody is a teacher and a student at the same time. So
I agree completely.
Yeah.
I think I might have a question. So you mentioned talking about writing your book. Have you ever like had to deal with like procrastination or trying to, yeah?
So Jacob, I write every day at least 5 minutes, but I also started writing articles for magazines and newspapers. And so I would have a deadline and I would be writing it in my head, but I wouldn't sit down I would write it, take notes. And then the night before it was due, I'd pull an all-nighter and end up writing the article in one day and finishing it at 4 a.m. and turning it into the editor. Yes, I have a problem with procrastination. I have a screenplay that I came up with the idea 4 years ago. I wrote with a partner for almost 2 years. And when we ended our writing relationship, it just needs about a month's worth of work and I haven't done it. And there's no excuse. It was COVID, I was home, there's no excuse. So yes, I procrastinate just like everybody else, I guess. Yeah.
I was asking because like, I've been thinking about like writing a short film script.
Excellent.
But I feel like I keep putting it off for other things. And so I guess I wanted to ask if like you have any advice about dealing with that.
I do. I have one piece of advice that has worked for me with, I'm putting myself down for procrastinating on my screenplay, but I do have 2 live shows a week still, and I was going live 7 days a week. So I still do get a lot done, even though it's not as much as I'd like to get done. My to-do list always has things left over, but the one thing that I do that has really changed my life is I write 5 minutes every single day, no matter what. And I tell somebody else that I did it. I send an email to this woman that I've now been sending her an email every single day for, I think it's 20 years. Every day I send her an email and let her know that I've written, because that keeps me honest. And you're welcome to send me an email and tell me that you've written that day. But as long as I write at least 5 minutes every day, it keeps me moving forward.
And soon that'll be your next book.
You know, I actually do. I would love to do like a TED talk and talk about how 5 minutes a day can change your life, because it really can. It really keeps me moving forward.
Well,
okay, thank you very much.
Yes. And thank you all for coming today. Jacob and Kaylee and Jessica and Felicia, and of course, Vicki. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you all. It was so wonderful to meet you all and hear your stories. I look forward to seeing you again and watching your amazing work.
And I was in I forgot to tell you that I was in a show on Netflix. It's called Away.
Oh, okay. Wait, the OA?
Away, AWAY, Away.
Okay, is it on now? Can I see it?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay, well, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check out all of your work. That's so exciting. Thank you.
There's Hilary Swank is in it.
Wow, she's a fabulous actress.
Yeah, she is. I actually gotten. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Felicia, but yeah, I actually got into the experience to actually meet into Hillary Swank myself, and she is a she's a very nice and amazing actress, and also I'm on a Hallmark show called Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, like David said, and I'm on the episode 6 called The Future Me, and you can see it on the Amazon Prime if you have it.
Fantastic. I do have Prime. I'm going to get to check out all of you guys, which I look forward to.
And there's Josh Charles is in it too.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be checking it out. David, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Having me meet all these wonderful actors.
And I look forward to seeing your next Shooting the Shit with Vicki.
It'll be today at 5 o'clock.
I hope you good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good luck.
Thank you, David.
Thank you,
Thank you,
David.
David. It was nice to meet you,
Vicki.
Vicki.
Bye, everybody. Nice to meet you all. Bye.
Very nice to meet you.
Bye.